But when we talk about budget modifications, you need funder approval before you make them, and you can't just determine what that's going to be and run with it. We talked about that before. Documenting the rationale of why you're doing a modification is important, as opposed to just doing a modification. In the example I used before, where there's a program staff who is no longer with the company, you can't find the hire for 3 or 4 months, very normal, and you're using a consulting firm who happens to have expertise in this one area, that's probably going to lead to a budget modification. And you know what the rationale is. We just have to make sure that they're aware of that rationale before it happens. So if I have issue finding a staff member after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I go to my funder and say, I'm just letting you know that there's a challenge in finding somebody for this role. Can you help me find somebody in the role? Can you give me some advice on what I can do in the meantime? Also, in the meantime, I'm using a consultant. Is that okay? I think those are very simple discussions to have with your program officer. The self-disclosure or voluntary self-disclosure issue is important. So we talked about this before. Don't just do things without telling people, and also have backup when you're doing it. Identifying and quantifying the issue. And I've had experiences where years that were closed because of previous errors in accounting, we've unearthed that we were underpaid large sums of money. So we have to obviously identify and quantify that issue with our program officer to even get that money. And there's definitely you have to be expedient. You have to be clear. You have to tell them that we understand why this happened and it won't happen again. Direct, factual, and solution focused. And typically it will work out on our end as the fundee or the recipient if we're just open and we explain what's been discovered. So let's keep it proactive with our program officers. So very quickly, building this culture again. Here's some just grant management policies that you should have. We probably all have that whistleblower policy. We all have some sort of procurement policy, the financial management policy, particularly the cost allocation and indirect cost rate. That's important if you wanted to go get a rate with the federal government. You should already have it. So you should already have, based upon uniform guidance, what your allocations are and why you're allocating it that way.